Welcome to the Built to Win podcast. I'm your host, Luke Mccluskey, and during this podcast, I am going to be sitting down with the top 1% of people in their industry. I'm going to be getting under the bonnet of what makes them special, what makes them great, and what makes them stand out from the crowd. A lot of people ask me who I circle or what I circle. And I could sit here and say that we help find the top 5% of talent in the marketplace. I could also sit here and say we'll do so in timescales that you've probably never seen before. And whilst all of these things stand true, I think the true thing that separates us from our competition and what really makes us unique is the people that work here. We all have a relentless drive to succeed, a relentless drive to win, and winning for our customers. So ensuring that we find our customers the right contractors to deliver their projects on time and in budget. Winning for our contractors, ensuring that we can get continuity. So going from one contract to another contract to another contract, and ensuring that we've got the client base to be able to deliver on those promises. We specialise in markets, the food manufacturing market and the life sciences market across the UK, Europe and USA. We deliver large-scale capital programmes. We deliver large-scale ERP programmes. But I do appreciate that these are just words. So why not give us a call? Let us prove ourselves in a live opportunity and let us showcase what we can do for you. Welcome to another episode of the Built to Win podcast. Today, I am joined by Tom Benjamin. Good to have you on.
Nice. Cheers, Luke. Thanks, brother.
So, Tom is the founder of the Bagel Project, founded it in 2023, scaled organically from initial investment to currently 5 stores with a goal to get to 20 stores and then an exit.
Yeah.
Have I missed anything?
No, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect.
So today we want to talk about mindset, pressure, discipline, and all of that stuff that makes you successful. So let's just kick on.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay. So when you've obviously taken risks, right?
Yeah.
When everything is on the line, you know, financials, reputation, all of that stuff. What does your internal dialogue sound like?
I think you've got to just back yourself. I think that's the biggest thing that I've always done is I kind of eliminate risk by saying the worst thing is, you know, as long as you're not getting yourself in a crazy amount of debt, I lose all the money, I can go again. And I think I just break it down like that every time. That's like the easiest benchmark for me. I just say, if I lose all the money, I can go again. And I think once you look at it like that and money's not like a real tangible thing that you 100% need, and decisions, you make the better decisions. You don't have to apply that risk that people say might be too risky. I just think, well, it's the worst thing.
The upside outweighs the downside.
If it doesn't work and I lose, then I lose and I can just go again. But if I win, the upside's a lot bigger than me sat here and doing nothing.
Fair. Well, actually, that's one of my later questions, but I'm going to just ask a question now. Are you driven by, well, I think you just answered it, but are you more driven by the buzz of the drive to succeed?
Yeah.
Or the fear of failure?
I think beginning, it was fear to fail. Like, I didn't want to fail. I started off, I used to play professional rugby.
Okay.
So I was in a big environment where if you failed, you got dropped. You can't fail, you can't get dropped. So I kind of applied that early when I started, as in I can't fail. Whereas now I'm very relaxed. Like I hope I do fail a few times because I feel like I know it's a really cliche thing to say, but on the things that I failed on, I've learned so much and applied it to where we are now.
Yeah.
I almost think if I hadn't have had those real bad times or real bad failures in the sense of looking at it as a failure, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm actually really grateful for failure. So
win or learn.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't faze me like it used to.
Yeah.
I was really scared of failure, whereas now I just think, you know, be driven, back yourself,
and know it's coming.
Yeah.
You can't win everything you do.
No.
All your ideas, all your innovations, all of that stuff that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Some of it is just going to fall on its ass, right? And some of it is
100%,
going to absolutely fly. But somewhere in the middle, you find the balance of growth.
Definitely.
That's really interesting. I didn't realise that you played professional rugby. Who did you play for?
So I was at Nottingham, did a bit of Bedford, and then came up through Cardiff Met. So played at university there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then came. So
nice, high standards.
It was good fun. Yeah, it was good
stuff. What do you do differently when the stakes are at that absolute highest?
Yeah. I think for me, I probably work, I know, as hard as I can. I'll just work every hour that I physically can and be committed to what I'm trying to achieve. I feel like if I work as hard as I can and it still doesn't work, at least you can look at yourself and be like, there's no question of, but at least you didn't put the work in. So that's the biggest thing for me. I feel like just making sure that I am working to my limit. And now I guess I'm better at delegating and
Yeah.
splitting the task down. Whereas before I take everything on. Like, we're expanding obviously quite quickly now. Before I take the full fit out, branding or launch strategy, everything would be me internally. I would work on it. Whereas now I'm kind of with a meeting, I'll divvy bits out. And I think that's helping me get better. Whereas I used to just take it all on.
Yeah, you start meddling as well.
Yeah.
The trouble is when you do delegate,
Yeah.
is you start thinking, "Oh, I'll do it like." That's a tough bit, right? But you got to let people come through, haven't you?
100%.
You got to let people come through. Okay. Have you ever felt like you were going to like break with stress? And what did you do in that moment?
I probably just carried on working, to be honest. Early on, that's like, we used to have, we had a cocktail bar, and then I was opening the Bagel Project. So I was working till 2 a.m., getting up at 6 a.m. To bake, like to roll, to open the store. And that was probably the point where, you thought you were going to break. And for me, I just think, I feel like when you look back on it, you think that I don't know how you got through that. But at the
Yeah.
time, it just felt like it was a necessary evil that I had to do to get through. So
Where does this work ethic come from?
I actually don't know. Like, I'd say, maybe my mum's obviously been she's come all the way up through food manufacturing, like started as a food technician, went all the way through to like CEO,
Yeah.
obviously a huge company. And I think seeing, in quite a male dominated industry, her do that's pretty incredible. At school, I didn't really have a great work ethic. I think in rugby, I probably relied maybe more on talent than work. But I think in business, I felt like I was maybe I didn't have the skills that was necessary to succeed.
So you make up for it
So
with
I
work
make up
ethic.
for it by work. That's
Yeah.
probably where I've got to with that, I think.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy because similar to you, I just couldn't get through school
Mm.
and get my head down. It just
No.
didn't work with my brain. But when there's something that you're interested in and it's exciting, then you get into that hyper focus mode. And it's like, nah, like, this is all exciting.
I know. It's
It's the old,
addictive.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think I've got quite an addictive personality. Like, business for me is, I just find it so addictive. So I think that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, and if you enjoy, it's cliche, right? But if you
Yeah.
enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your
Yeah,
life. So
100%.
you're probably not seeing it as work
Yeah, no, I
as
don't. And
well.
I always say that to like my friends and that, they're like, oh, work shit or whatever. I'm like, I just don't, I just think I get to surround myself with people that I want to be around, and then we get to build something really cool from an idea to a
Yeah,
brand. That's
yeah,
like what excites me and what I enjoy.
yeah. Nice. Okay. In your opinion, what do you think separates people who perform under pressure and people who don't?
I think it is a mindset. And I think I think it's your motivating factor. I think I used to motivate myself by saying, you're not good enough to be it. And that was my motivation. Whereas now I motivate myself by saying, you are good enough. You just got to go and step on and prove yourself at the next level. And I feel like you've got to be fighting an internal dialogue to push yourself through that pressure. I think some people crack and say, it's too hard, I'll turn away. If you don't have something internally driving you, that's where I think you kind of fall
And
down.
what is it that drives you?
I think now I want to build the biggest bagel brand in the UK. That's the goal. Like, aside from financials and anything, like, that's my goal. And I think we can achieve it. I think being able to do that from just a startup, rolling, physically making the bagels myself, to do that, to see where we are. And, we're getting into a position where we're speaking to potential investment to be able to drive us to that next stage. I think that's my biggest goal. And that's what drives me.
And was that always there?
I don't think so. In terms of like a business sense, no. I think I started off with bars, opened the first bar just before COVID, as I was playing rugby as well. And that was very much like this. I was like, I'm getting to run a business, but I'm also getting to drink with my mates. Perfect. But the business acumen of it didn't really come in. And I think maybe as I stopped playing rugby and I didn't have that passion, I lost all of, from like 12 all the way through to like 24, I was playing rugby to a high standard. And then like, I just had to finish doing that, losing all of that time that I had. And then I think found like a huge passion for business, and then just kept developing and developing. And like, we do multiple things for clothing brand and a few other bits that we do just because I love it. Like, I find like it's just, yeah, it's such a passion for me.
Do you have much of a social life now?
A little bit more. I imagine my girlfriend would probably say we could have we had a bit more of one. But yeah, I think like I'm trying to find a balance. But I do think that the balance is really difficult. And I think when it's a passion and something that you absolutely love, I don't think you want to be away from it.
Rest at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I really enjoy it. So it doesn't seem like it's not a task for me to go and do it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. What are the non-negotiable habits that have driven your success?
I think in terms of being like disciplined, finding routine and keeping yourself accountable. Obviously, you all know, I guess, in the sense of if you say you didn't turn up to work today, but no one's gonna, say like, why aren't you in work? Like you control it yourself. I think that's the same for me. But my internal thing is like, you have to turn up every day. You have to show up. You have to do this. Just making them non-negotiables because
Yeah.
you find in times, you have pretty low motivation points and you'll feel like I'm not motivated. But if you just stick in the routine and you have your habit, you just get through it. And, you look back on like 3 weeks and you're like, God, I really didn't maybe want to be in work or I wasn't that motivated. But having that routine and having those habits just drives you to,
Catches your fault when
yeah,
motivation dips.
100%. Yeah. And then when you're super motivated, it's like you've got everything lined up and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't.
So when the motivation is low and
Yeah.
you're like, because we all get it sometimes, like where it's like, oh, do you know, I could just have a day
Yeah.
off today,
Yeah.
but you don't. What is it that's getting you it?
I think it's just that internal, I want to create the biggest brand
Mm.
and I want to do that. And to achieve it, you have to turn up daily. And I think for me, it's about showing the team that, if they ever think that, I would hate to see my like boss or whatever not turning up to work or taking a half day or picking and choosing.
Mm.
I'm very much like, I want to show them that this is the standard that I'm setting. And, hopefully that then drives everyone along with me. So I think they're all the bits that play into it when I'm not motivated.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. And what do you do consistently that most people wouldn't have the discipline for?
I think just consistently working and consistently trying to be better, like every single day. I know it's between like hospitality, but in terms of the bagels, like we're looking at every little bit of detail on how we get better, and
Yes.
100% how we get better. And then I think for myself, I'm now looking at how I can have a better routine. So making sure I'm eating better, sleeping, training, like all the things that when I started out I wasn't doing.
Mm.
I'm like, well, no wonder I felt burnt out. I feel like now I can work at a pretty consistently high level, sustain it because I'm looking after my body as
Yeah,
well as
yeah.
like, not just putting work as 100% focus. Because if you don't look after everything else, you start
You've
to,
got to find that
yeah,
balance, haven't you? You have to
you
find
fall
it.
around. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you have to work less.
Yeah.
It just means that you need to prioritize other things
Yeah. Like I
as
would,
an important
yeah.
factor in your life.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't train because I feel like an hour and a half going to the gym is an hour and a half out of my working day. Whereas
Yeah,
now I'm like, if I do that, that gives you your release at the
yeah.
end of like, if I
And
go,
ideas
yeah,
for me.
yeah. And if you go at 6 o'clock and you do that and then you go home and finish the, I always say like the creative bits, I don't find work. So if I'm designing t-shirts or designing our new menu or doing anything like that, I'll do that at night because I just feel like I can have the TV on,
Yeah,
do those types of bits. But then like the harder work, get that done in the day.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you can
Fair.
finish off the easy stuff at night.
Yeah. And what does a locked in day look like for you?
I would say I'd get up, we go into the bakery in the morning. I always get into the bakery just because that's like our time to make sure everything's getting right out the door. So we've got centralized prep and bakery. That then all goes out and then I kind of have team meetings in the morning. We're normally then looking at how we can develop our either new menus or now new sites, doing
Mm.
quite a lot of investment work. So kind of like forecasting what we look like now, what we look like with 6 sites, with 9 sites, and when that comes in, and the pinch points on investment and pinch points where we're going to be short on cash, and looking at all those types of things. Very much do that, and then I'd say like afternoon, I normally look at something like the clothing bits, drop into the bars, and then evenings just
You
kind of
still got the bars?
yeah, still got the bars. So we got four,
Have you?
yeah,
Nice,
yeah, so it's good.
nice. Just don't get to go in them much now,
No,
unless you're working.
yeah, yeah. I do. I go in a bit, check on them like a couple of times a week, but we've got good management in there.
Yeah,
And I think it's often you have to prioritize something and understand where you want things to grow. And I think for the Bagel Project, we've really got a business and kind of like the unit economics really add up to scale. Bars are really good, but you have to be in them constantly and driving them.
yeah.
I think the scalability of the investment in to set up a bar versus the payback is a lot longer than what with all the
Course, yeah.
shops. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fair. Okay. What would you say when I talk about something that didn't go to plan,
Yeah.
what is that one thing that comes to your mind where it's like, or maybe a failure, a
Yeah.
setback, or whatever it might be?
Yeah. I mean, we had a pretty big one when we launched a cocktail bar, 6 Richmond House. It did go really well for a couple of years. We had a flood. We overinvested. Like the fit out costs were silly. We'll never recuperate that money back. And I think we were almost flogging a dead horse for a bit. Like it just wasn't turning. So we closed that and reopened as a different concept, just
Yeah.
rebranded. And now that's doing a lot better.
Oh, nice.
But I think that was because I was scared of fate. I thought if we close this, you failed. You can't do that.
Perception.
But then I was just like, it doesn't matter. And then we closed it, reopened, and all of those problems we were having seem to have gone away for now.
Yeah.
So I think
Well, what did you learn from that?
just you're gonna fail. Sometimes you're gonna make really bad decisions,
Mm.
and you can't hide away from them. You have to just accept that that was a really bad decision. How do we can we even reverse it, and can we make it better? And if we can't, then just accept that it's a bad decision and move on instead of, I think
Kicking the can.
yeah, it was. And that's what we did, for too long, like for 9, even probably a year, we were just looking at it, losing money, just going, oh, it'll get better. Like we'll change this, we'll change that. And it doesn't. So you've got to you just got to make the right decision, which is difficult. You don't know when the right decision is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a tough one, especially when there's emotional attachment involved as well. It's, it's a baby of yours.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say the hardest period of your career has been, and how did you navigate it?
I would probably say as we had as Richmond House and we're opening the Bagel Project, because at the time I'd only done bars. I'd never done like a cafe. So it was a completely new concept for me. I had to teach myself how to bake. It was like baking and operating the site, as well as running the cocktail bar that was running until like 2 a.m. So I think in terms of like flipping your mindset between like trying to operate a cocktail bar and then flipping it back to opening a bagel shop and more, that was really difficult. And I think I didn't know whether I was making the right decision. I thought I was stretching myself too thin.
Yeah.
But now I've learned, I think now I'm trying to test ideas all the time.
Where did the idea for the Bagel Project come from?
I I used to drink quite a lot, so the bars were perfect for me. And then I started drinking less, and I was like, the appeal of being in them all the time became less and less. And I think then seeing that there was a shift in kind of like, younger people coming through, they're not drinking as much. There was less drinking culture, and I think I'd seen, the face of it. I thought if we can make a product and we can sell that, we cut the middleman out. Like with beer, for instance, you buy off a brewery, they making it, they put a cost on. You get it from the wholesaler, so they've put a cost. So by the time you get it, you've had like 2 extra costs. And then you're then putting your margin, you've got like 3 up sales on it. Whereas I thought if we can make our own product, we're a wholesaler, we're our supplier, and we sell the end product. So that allowed us to have a bit more margin. And I thought it'd be worth a shot at it. The investment cost in wasn't a crazy amount. I thought it was worth a punt, and obviously it seems.
Why bagels?
I'd seen when I went into university, I'd seen a bagel shop. It was like kind of like a New York deli. I really liked the concept. I thought it was really good, and Nottingham didn't have anything. And I thought if you've got an opportunity, especially in hospitality, to get into a market without any competition, like
you're laughing.
You have to. Yeah, I literally did a search and I was like, there isn't, and then did another one. I was like, there's literally no bagel shops in Nottingham.
Yeah.
And then I think as soon as we got a bit of success, I then took a loan against my property out, because I was like, we have to try and monopolize this market. And now we've got to like 3, and obviously we've got the 2 more coming, which will make us 5 within 2.5, 3 years. I think, competition is now on its way.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty big competition, but I feel like I just see that as like a compliment. They're obviously looking at it and saying there's an opportunity. So I just say like, we're doing the right thing, and it like motivates me more. Like,
absolutely,
it's giving me like
you'll work at such a better level now. There's someone who's trying to take the next one.
Yeah, it's so good. I actually,
it's horrible.
Yeah, it's a hard feeling. I think it's, it is something you're dealing with. But I think I've just said like, we are going to get better. If we get better every single day.
Is it a bigger business?
Yeah,
you could be more agile though.
Yeah, and I think we understand. Like I'm in it every single day. I know that won't be the case in that side. So yeah, feeling pretty good for it. Excited.
Good. Love that. Do you believe that resilience is built, or do you feel that it's wired into someone?
Yeah. I think there's a bit of both. I think you do have to have, like, it is a crazy mindset to, I imagine you've probably felt it as well, that you're working stupid amount of hours and probably not getting paid at the end of it. I know for the first like 12 months, even probably longer, we were just reinvesting everything, and I was taking like minimum out I could out of the business. Like, there has to be a level of resilience built into you, I think. And then I think you learn it more over time. And the more you do, the more resilient you get. And, say like something comes in, you've probably seen it before, so you understand how to get around it. So resilience is built in, but I think there's got to be some natural in there. What do you think on it?
Yeah, I'm probably with you on that. I think resilience is built in school.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Playground banter and all of that stuff. I think you have to learn to cope with certain things. But I feel that you have to go through that when you get later in life. You have to go through like hard knocks, letdowns, failures to build resilience. Like, you can't just expect it to be there. You have to, it's a really difficult question, actually. It's a really difficult one to answer. I think bounce back ability, it depends. It all depends on mindset.
Yeah.
It all depends on mindset. It depends on what emotion you attach to that particular outcome will depend on how you respond to it with resilience. That's my take on it. So if you're walking around glass half empty, almost expecting everything to happen, then when you get knocked down, you're going to stay down because you are kind of bringing it to the forefront. Whereas I feel if it's just like, well, nothing can knock me down. Whatever comes to me, I'm going to come back 2 times stronger. But it's difficult. Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think I get that.
Yeah, we touched on this earlier, but what has failure taught you that success never could have?
I think it's the feeling of failure. I think obviously you get better at dealing with it, but it stings. We're in a period now where we've kind of gone like back to back to back record weeks, and the feeling of that versus like the feeling of a bad week is complete. I feel the feeling of success for me. I don't really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Next.
Yeah, I don't, I say the biggest thing that makes me feel like I've achieved something is when I walk into the bakery, because it's like, we've got a proper bakery now, and I used to roll in like a tiny little, with an oven that could fit 24 bagels. And that's the thing that I think, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
But, failure, I think it stings. And I think that feeling is different.
Yeah. It's where you learn.
Yeah.
It's where you learn. If it's that painful, if it's that much of a failure, you're just not going to do it again.
Yeah.
100%. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you just become a lot more diligent in your decision making or whatever.
Yeah, it makes you think in a completely different way, I think.
Yeah.
Success, I don't think you've obviously worked hard to get that and you get the success, but when you like have a really good week, obviously you reflect on it.
Yeah.
I think the reflection is just in a different way than it is when.
For me, I don't know about you, like when we have a record week, month, or whatever it might be, I appreciate it for the moment.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, okay, well, we've proven we could do that. That's a new benchmark. Yeah. What can we go to next?
100%.
And then it's never ending. You're constantly chasing. But that's it. It's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing when you want to scale something massive. But it's also a bad thing because you're never satisfied.
Yeah, I think that's it, the satisfied. I think as soon as you begin to become satisfied with like either normal or average, then I think that's when you should look, I think, to
get out.
Get out. Or as soon as you're happy with, that was an okay week, and you're not reflecting on every single detail.
Yeah.
I think when I say success and failure, like, we still reflect on everything when we succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's that feeling, I think, when you fail, that's what stops you wanting to do it again.
Yeah, I find that when we go through a tough phase, right? We all go through it. That's when we learn the most. That's when I then build processes that catches the fall, that will stop that from happening again. That will stop that from happening again. Yeah. But my chairman always says to me, he's my mentor. He always says to me, he said, when everything's going well, keep your eye over your shoulder because you're about to get left hook from somewhere, right? And you don't know where he's coming from. So while they're just there and you're dealing with them, that's great, right? That's great because you're moving forward and stuff like that. But when everything's going perfect, a big left hook is coming somewhere because your success is never linear.
Yeah, I think that's what we're in a good position now. We've got good systems in and stuff, and obviously we're looking to expand. But that's the thing for me that I'm always like looking at whether we can develop other angles to the business that we're just. Because of the clothing stuff, we're now launching like online. We're going to have a website and we'll run that through like Shopify. So I'll be able to sell our merch and like run our ad stream the same that we do with our clothing. So I'm like, well, I've got a physical store. I'm trying to build my brand. I'm going to now build an online presence, and that's going to act as its own ecosystem. Someone might wear a Bagel Project t-shirt because they think it's cool in London. They're wearing the brand that's got a physical store. It's like in the times that we're like things are going well, I'm like, how can we get better and how can we make our business like, I want to be a hospitality business that's like thinking completely different than traditional, like this is what we do, we serve people, we do this. I want to have like an ecosystem that all fills.
That's smart. No, I like that. What does winning actually mean to you now?
I think it's very similar to probably how you feel about it. I think when we get a win, it's how do we get better and how do we do it again, but how do we do it bigger? And I think from a perspective of I think because I've been very used to being in a team. Winning in a team is such a good feeling. I don't know if you've played sport, but just it's such a good feeling. Whereas like when you win by yourself, even though you've got a team around you, it's
still quite lonely.
It's a different feeling, and I think it's like what's next then, or how do we improve or get better? And I know I keep saying it, but it's just an internal dialogue I always have in my head. It's like even when I was driving over here today, I was like calling a couple of the team and just like, have you thought about this? Should we think about that?
Yeah,
we've got summers coming up. How do we look at maybe doing this? We've got like a mobile van that we put around. It's like, how can we get that into cooler events? Like, so there's always things that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
The wins for me is just like, how do we keep building on them?
And did you always have that internal ideas factory, or is it something that has, since you got into business, it's then started, falling from the sky, these
Yeah,
ideas?
I think I think it's hard to. I don't have really a great memory. I think probably just getting hit in the head a lot of rugby.
Yeah, might
Like,
do it.
yeah, I think it has probably done it, to be fair. But growing up in that, I can't really remember having like loads of these crazy ideas or thinking like, oh, I want to work for myself or anything. I thought I was going to be a professional rugby player. And I think that was like my goal. And even post uni, I thought, yeah, I can still do it. And then when work kind of got busier, that fell away. Then I think that was when like I really stepped on into the business. And I think then the more learning you do about it, the more ideas you come, and you're thinking in a different way in terms of like, how do I take a product and how do I market that? And, how do we look at our ad strategy and all the bits that we're looking at in terms of like the clothing really helps me. And I want to test everything. I want to be in every market
Mm,
because I know everyone says you should focus on one thing and do it really well. And I agree. But I also think if I can learn different elements, even if one business fails, but I learn, say the clothing fails, but I've learned about ads, how do we target someone, how do we run an email campaign, how do we do all those things, and that's something that's going to help the Bagel Project.
mm.
So for me, I want to be as many places as I can really.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair, fair. Um, we've kind of already answered this, but I'm going to ask it again. Is winning addictive?
Yeah, yeah. I find it super addictive. Like I
Mhm.
think just that like it does give you a good feeling, doesn't it? You think,
Yeah, yeah,
it's impressive what you can achieve. I always take it back to like a base of like we had no, we didn't have a business 2.5 years ago,
yeah,
so every win's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's addictive. Do you find it addictive?
Massively. I
Yeah,
find it hugely addictive. I am absolutely addicted to the deal. I really cherish and I love my family time. By the time I go to bed on Sunday,
yeah,
I am chomping at the bit to
yeah,
get back in the
yeah,
office because I know deals are
yeah,
about to land.
yeah,
And I'll never lose that. When I do lose that, that's enough. But yeah, that's why I'm here,
oh, yeah,
because I'm addicted to the deal.
yeah.
I just love it. It's mad.
It's a good feeling though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a really good feeling. Okay. So when we talk about like people's purpose,
Yeah.
do you think that is found, or do you think that is built?
I think it's a mixture, but I do believe if you haven't found what your purpose is and you're trying to just build something fabricated, then I do think eventually that runs out. Like I do think if your sole motivation was like financial gain in a business, I think you might get to that point, but you'll have something in your head that you're like, if I get to that, then I'll be happy, or then I'll be, find my purpose. I don't think that really. It might serve some people. I can only speak from my personal perspective. Like if it was that motivating factor, that was it. I don't think I could. I
Mm,
think the purpose would run away pretty quick for me.
absolutely. I'm a big one on purpose. Like I think about purpose as like happiness,
Yeah,
free.
yeah,
Yeah, happiness and I mean, what more do you want than
yeah.
being happy? And if X is gonna make you happy, then
And I think that's it, isn't it? I think it's
but it's
work.
the process
Yeah,
more than the end product, I find.
yeah. I think the journey's like so fun. Like
Yeah.
just being in it all the time and seeing growth, and they're all the bits that I really enjoy. And I think it is stressful, isn't it? And it's hard. I think if it
Yeah.
was easy, everyone would do it. But I think if you enjoy all those elements and like you say, it makes you happy. Like I couldn't work for someone. I don't think. I think I
Nah.
would just get fired pretty quick. Like, I wouldn't. I couldn't. I don't think I could deal with the progression levels. So, like if I came in at entry and I was
You just
but
want no speed
better, I would
cameras.
just want to keep. I would just be like, well, instead of like the experience level, then I'd be like. For me, I always say to my team, like, experience. For me, at some point, I think it matters. But the stage we're in, like, I just want people that want to work and enjoy it, being around. And I enjoy being around. Like, the biggest thing for me, because I didn't have 2.5 years ago, I didn't have any experience. I didn't know how to make a bagel.
Mm.
Whereas, like, we are where we are today. If it was based on experience, I would have never been able to,
Yeah.
there would have been a barrier to entry there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you 100% on that. Very, very rarely do I hire anybody with recruitment experience. Everyone, even like my board now,
Yeah,
like my commercial director, my sales director, all homegrown.
yeah. That's
Because
what,
yeah, absolutely, they learn it your way.
yeah,
Um, and they don't necessarily come with egos. Oh, well, we could do it better over it.
yeah.
It's like, hang on, this is how we do things around
Mm,
here. Um,
buy into it.
yeah, buy into it, and you can, yeah, and then you put them on a journey of progression, and
100%.
that's how you get loyalty and culture and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
definitely. That's it.
Um,
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's important. Important. Last thing you want is looking over your shoulder,
No.
thinking, "Do I trust that person?"
Yeah, I've got a really like tight knit team that I trust.
Yeah,
I think that's important for me. Like it takes me a long while to like trust
Yeah,
someone,
same.
especially in a like business capacity.
Yeah.
I'm probably like from a friendship capacity, I'm quite like, yeah,
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
business sense, it takes me a long, long time for me to be like, yeah,
It's your neck on
trust
the
you.
line.
Yeah,
It's your neck on
definitely.
the
Yeah,
line. So
yeah.
you got a bit, right?
You have to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If everything disappeared tomorrow, what would you rebuild first?
Um, I'd probably look at doing some of like the online bits.
Mhm.
What are you talking about from like a business
Yeah,
perspective?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So you just got boom tomorrow
yeah,
to start again.
yeah. But I knew everything.
Yeah, yeah. You got your knowledge.
Yeah, I would probably look at like the e-commerce side, just because
Mhm.
I think in terms of like a quick, like money in versus money out from a minimal investment, I'd be able to make some money back quite quick.
Yeah,
As soon as I then gained a little bit more financial, then I look at how we probably took where we are now as a brand, what works, like unit economics, and then be able to like bring that into a unit and expand quickly. But I feel like the service of it, like from your perspective, like service based and like especially e-com online products, the overheads are so much lower.
yeah.
With like hospitality, like our overheads are extremely high.
Mhm.
With business rates, rent, all the stuff that the government are piling on at the moment,
Yeah.
it all feeds into it. So it makes it a
Yeah.
harder industry to be in. So I probably would look online
Mhm.
if I was going to go.
Fair enough. What do you feel is one habit everyone should steal from you?
Just, I'd say consistency.
Yeah.
That is what I've tried to stay now. Just consistent. I have a to-do list. I have like important tasks need to get done. Would be good if I did. Like, and if you've had an absolute crazy day and nothing's gone wrong, try and get these done at the end.
Yeah.
I just do that every day. Even if I'm like not in work, there'll be like a few bits I put on it.
Yeah.
I just do that at the end of the night when I finish my day, ready for the start of the next one. I just do that daily.
Yeah.
I think that's been the biggest thing that has helped me.
It's so simple as well.
Yeah, I know it's literally the most simple thing. And then I sleep better because everything that I was thinking out,
Yeah.
put on a piece of paper. Then in the morning, as soon as I sit down, put
You
it
know
up,
where you're at.
and you just start working through it. So it's just that monotonous cycle of like, what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What is one belief that you hold that most people would disagree with?
Probably I'm quite strong on the experience thing.
Yeah.
People like a couple of my mates didn't get jobs. Like a guy, he's trying to get one at the moment. He's like, they're looking for more experience. It just that fundamentally just does my head in.
Yeah.
Because I
Same.
just think it's like you could have had the best person and you could mold them and
Mhm.
you can work with them and you might have to put a bit more time into them, but that could be like the best asset you have.
Absolutely.
But because they don't have experience on a piece of paper, and it probably goes back to my school days because school just used to annoy me, like,
Yeah.
you know,
You just put in a box.
yeah. And if you don't fit, if I'm like really dyslexic and stuff, so trying to read, I struggle with, and then retaining the information to regurgitate on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
I struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then it was like, oh, well, no, you can't go to a top university.
Mm.
But so then you're like, well, this is mental.
Yeah.
But then I look at my class and I'm like, no, being like bigger. But I'm probably out achieving
Yeah.
person that went to Oxford.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah,
where's the
yeah,
thing in that?
absolutely. I had to have a conversation with my little boy. He's 11 years old. He came back. He's like, I got staff student of the week.
Yeah,
Right? He's in year 6,
yeah,
and it was a really nice statement from his teacher about how he's doing
yeah.
really well. But a comment on there, he's working really hard to tone down his exuberant personality. I'm like,
That's
that's his
yeah,
personality.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Why should he stop?
why should
Yeah,
he tone down on like how exuberant he is?
yeah,
That's never offended anybody.
yeah,
So I had to sit down with him and say, "Well, that there,
yeah,
I disagree with.
yeah,
You stay you,
yeah,
and well done on getting all of that.
yeah,
But I don't like that line.
yeah,
No, just shit, isn't it?
yeah. It is hard. Yeah, I
You just
think.
get put in a box.
Yeah, and if you don't fit dead into it, then
Yeah,
but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Worst advice you see people follow.
I think in the online space there is a lot now. Oh god, I can't. That's probably another pet peeve of mine. But
Yeah,
if you're selling a course and you haven't got a business, then
yeah.
you should
Or have
listen.
one.
Or yeah, you shouldn't listen to a word they say. Like,
Nah.
because unless you're scaling something that people can physically see.
Yeah.
So that would be a big one. Is I would say be really careful who you're listening to from an online space perspective.
Yeah.
And then like another one I think is people now get really put off the idea of risk.
Hmm.
Speaking to one of my friends the other day, he's just come back from America working, and we were speaking about business, and I was like, "Why don't you start your own?" He's like, "I made the risk." I was like, "Well, you ain't got a job at the moment." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but like, I'll get one." So I couldn't take on that risk. And I think people are so, it's drilled in that, yeah, don't take risks, don't do this. If you haven't got security in your job or this or that, then, you're not going to be in a good space. Whereas I look at it from the reverse side. You have to got to go through, 2, 3 years of it. it'd definitely not make it, or, you know, making a bit of money, but it'd been really hard. But once you get to the other side, and the way that you view things is worth that 2 years of
Yeah.
failure or perception of failure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the challenge. Like here, right? There's a lot of rejection involved.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rejection. Recruitment's a really, really hard sales job, right? And I have to constantly do mindset sessions with people to get them to take risks
Yeah.
and just be themselves and,
Yeah.
and not put on a corporate mask. We're far from corporate. It's like just be yourself. I hired you for your personality. No experience. I hired you for your personality.
Do that.
Just go and just go and do that. But you know, when you look at how school is and everything around you is
Yeah.
just like, oh my, don't take risks, stay in the lane,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that. And it's
100%.
just
It does coach you that way, doesn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what the whole world is like, isn't
Yeah.
it? Tom, you've been great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you joining me today. If you don't know, follow the Bagel Project. I'm so excited to see how quickly this one scales. And yeah, it's been
Appreciate that.
great.
Cheers.
Thank you for
very
joining
much.
me.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.